okay, so tip number 1 is increase your protein intake. Increase your protein intake. So we are having this mindset shift where we're not going to starve ourselves anymore, okay? Even if you just focus on eating more protein, it's going to help you feel more full, and it's going to help you feel full. It's going to help with your metabolism, and it's going to help you keep muscle in your body. Ladies, we need to keep muscle in our body, okay? Especially if you're over 30. If you're over 30, you naturally lose muscle mass, okay? And that's what actually slows down our metabolism, and that's what causes things to start sagging, okay? So because you lose muscle mass and then so things start to sag. So we don't want that. So goal protein intake for you, if you're taking notes, 2 grams of protein for every kilogram that you weigh, okay? So for example, if I weigh 145 pounds, it's about 66 kilograms. My goal protein intake is going to be around, I think it's like 132 grams of protein, okay? And the types of proteins we're going to have is lean proteins. So if you eat meat, chicken, grass-fed beef, fish, eggs. If you like to have protein powders, I always recommend stay away from the whey protein and have plant protein. Whey protein really messes up the hormones. If you guys have heard me talk about this before, especially if you have like adult acne or if you have bloating issues at all, you want to stay away from the whey protein. So look at your packaging on your bars and stuff like this. Like if you have snack bars, make sure that there's no whey protein in there or milk protein in there, okay? All right. So that's tip number 1. Number 2 is intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting is amazing, okay? This will naturally increase your human growth hormone, okay? It's going to help increase your metabolism. It's going to help you retain your muscle mass, okay? It's also really good for digestion. So there's different ways you can intermittent fast. There's different ways to intermittent fast. And ladies, I really want you to start paying attention to your body and how you're feeling, what feels good for you, how you're getting results, and can you stick with it, okay? Because for me, like I used to intermittent fast 16 hours, and then I had an 8-hour eating window. Once I started increasing my workouts and lifting more weights, I had to change my intermittent fasting window to 14-10. So 14 hours I fast, 10 hours, I have a 10-hour eating window. And I did not put on any fat. I've put on muscle, but I haven't put on any fat. So you have to really pay attention to your body type. The one thing I'll say about intermittent fasting for the ladies is if you fast for too long, so some women will just eat like once a day, or they're fasting like 20 hours a day. For some people that works, but for a lot of ladies, that might interrupt your menstrual cycle. Okay, so that's your menstrual cycle, ladies, is a really good indicator of your health. So if it's all over the place and you're not in menopause, then that's an indication that there's hormonal imbalances there. Okay. So when you are in the fasting phase, so you're having things like water, obviously, water. I got my bestie here. You can have herbal teas. You can have stevia. You can have MCT coconut oil. You can have like cinnamon. You can have sparkling water. You can have lemon. But anything else, anything with sugar, milk, or cream, you're going to have an insulin response. The reason why we intermittent fast, you guys, is because we're giving our body a break from having our blood sugar up high and our insulin high. We want our body to start using the stored fat for energy, okay? That's why we intermittent fast. Some people can go really long and they can go into a thing called autophagy, which is great. Sometimes it's good to do that once in a while, but doing that all the time might be a little bit difficult. You should not have a headache. You should not feel like you're going to pass out. We're not starving ourselves, okay? So I'll just give you an example of how I intermittent fast. So in the morning, I get up. The first thing I do is have a glass of water. Have a glass of water. It's very hydrating to the body. It's good for the metabolism. Okay. Then I'll have either coffee or tea, black, no cream, no sugar. I'll maybe have some cinnamon in it. I might have some MCT coconut oil in it, which is really, really good. Ramadan, yeah. I mean, most religions fast, right? There's spiritual benefits of fasting and then there's physical benefits of fasting. This has been proven. That's why all the tips I'm sharing with you today have been proven. It's amazing. Okay, so you're going to have your tea or coffee black. Keep it black in the morning. You can have the MCT coconut oil. Then you can have some stevia if you want, or monk fruit. Monk fruit is also sugar-free, calorie-free. You can have that. You guys know about my adaptogen drops. This doesn't have any sugar in it. I put this, a lot of my girls put this in their coffee or tea in the morning too, because it also helps with metabolism, helps with focus. And that's about it. And then around 11 o'clock, I'll eat my first meal, okay? And during that eating window, that brings me to my third point. We're going to have hormone-friendly foods. So you'll hear lots on the internet, people like, oh, it's just about a calorie deficit. It's just about being in a calorie deficit. No, it's not just being, you can be in a calorie deficit and be so unhealthy. So if you guys know my story, a few years ago when my husband had cancer, I was, mom of four, I was in a calorie deficit. I was barely eating. I was vegan, raw vegan. I was so stressed out. I was so scrawny. I was like emaciated, skinny. I was weak. My hair was falling out. My nails were breaking. My face was all sunken in. I was saggy. Like my body was very saggy looking. And, I was in a calorie deficit, but I wasn't eating enough proper nutrients and protein to keep my body healthy and strong. So it's not just about being in a calorie deficit. It's about eating foods that actually nourish your hormones. Your metabolism, your metabolic rate is controlled by hormones. You feeling full, you feeling hungry, you feeling depressed, you feeling awake and focused, low libido, high libido, your immune system, those are all controlled by hormones, okay? Even where your body is storing fat. Okay, so I have a free download of foods that help with your hormones. They're thermogenic foods, adaptogens, in my bio link. So if after this live stream, you can go, I have a lot of girls, they'll go and they'll download it, they'll print it off, and they'll put it on their fridge. Okay, so next time you're at the grocery store, you can see all the different foods that you want to try to incorporate during your eating window that are going to actually help turn your body into a fat burning machine. Okay, they're very thermogenic for the body. Okay. Snacking. Speaking of snacking, during that eating window, if you have like a sweet tooth, so I was going to show you guys this. These are some of my favorite snacks. So I love chocolate. This is a Buddha bar, I think it's called. Hungry Buddha. It's a keto, 10 grams of protein, chocolate, plant-based. I love it. So have stuff like this. Like I literally put it in your purse, right? Some snack bars. The thing I have a lot, you guys heard me talk about this, I call it my crack, is Smart Sweets. Smart Sweets are so, so good. So whatever candy you love, like if you love, what's it called? Sour Patch Kids, gummy worms, those fuzzy peaches, there is alternatives for, and I've noticed there's a lot of brands coming out with stuff like this now. There's other brands that have this. Okay, and like this is plant-based. It's full of fiber. There's no sugar. I think it's sweetened with stevia. Yeah, it's like just coconut. It's full of fiber, you guys. Really, really good. There's no dairy, no artificial anything in it. So I have it. I've trained my kids to have it. At first, they did not like them, but now they're used to them. Okay, so just have really good snacks during your eating window in your environment, like in your purse, in your fridge, in your pantry. Then you're less likely, when you're tempted, to go and eat junk food, okay? Once in a while, it's okay. Like I'll have a treat. I'll eat pizza maybe like once a week. But for the rest of the time, I'm trying to eat clean and feeding my hormones. So I don't really have to think about weight loss. I don't have to think about my metabolism or anything because I've trained my body to eat this way, okay? So that's number 3. Number 4, should I cut out sugar, right? You know what? Cutting out sugar can be very challenging for a lot of people. If you can do it, okay. What I advocate for is finding alternatives. So instead of focusing on what you can't have, try to focus more on what you can have. So, for example, I like sweets too. I like chocolate too. So that's why I have, all these snacks with me, right? I'm not thinking about, oh, I can't eat this. As soon as you start thinking, like psychologically, you guys, as soon as you start thinking, oh, I can't eat this and I can't eat this, all of a sudden you're hungry. right? Because psychologically your body thinks it's in starvation mode, and it makes you actually more hungry. That urge even stronger. It's like evolution. Versus it's like, no, I'm just going to eat clean. I'm going to try to find alternatives for all my favorite food. Okay? So find alternatives. If you're going to cut out anything, like cold turkey, cut out dairy. Cut out dairy. You guys have heard me talk about that a lot. And the good thing is there's so many alternatives now. Like you can have, there's so many almond milk and oat milk and so many different things that you can have instead of dairy. Okay? Why cut out dairy? Great question, April. Dairy, you guys, first of all, our adult body is not designed to digest dairy. It's not. Okay? If you think about it, mammals, we're the only mammals at adult age that still consume dairy. It's meant for kids, right? So what happens when you have dairy, it literally sits in the gut and it ferments. And it messes up our gut bacteria. Plus, dairy nowadays is a lot different than dairy back in the day. So there's a lot of hormones in it and chemicals that disrupt our hormones. Okay? So that's why you'll notice a lot of people have like bloating issues, or they have acne issues, or they're having a hard time losing weight. A lot of times it's dairy. And a lot of the dairy products, you guys, have crap in it. Like they have sugars and processed stuff in it. There's no, like having ice cream once in a while, that's okay. But like if you're consuming dairy every single day, it's literally doing nothing for you. What about lactose-free yogurt or cheese? Great question. You know what? If it's working for you, okay. The one thing about that is try to stay away from really processed foods. So a lot of companies will market their products as, lactose free or vegan, like it's healthy, and you go look at the ingredients. If there's a whole bunch of ingredients in there that you don't even know what they are and it's not natural, I would say stay away from it. Or have it just once in a while. Like say maybe Friday night you're having a pizza and you're craving some cheese but you don't want to have dairy, go for it. Have some, lactose-free dairy cheese. But for the most part, just look at the ingredients, okay? Because a lot of vegan foods, you guys, are just processed crap. It's not going to do anything for you. The next thing, mamas, ladies, how many of you girls are resistance training right now? Be honest. How many of you are resistance training? You're lifting some sort of weights on a regular basis. This is why this is important, okay? You don't have to be a bodybuilder. You don't have to be anything like that. I also used to just work out at home with my little dumbbells or whatever, right? Yes, okay, good. But what happens is, you guys, after 30, we naturally lose muscle. You need resistance to keep the muscle growing. That's how muscles grow. They break down when you're exercising, not cardio, you guys. I'm not talking about cardio. I'm talking about lifting weights or resistance training. It'll break down the muscle. It takes calories to build those muscles back up, which increases your metabolism, okay? And it literally increases your metabolic rate with the more muscle you have on the body. It also is going to help fill out the skin so things don't start to sag, okay? Because we all know after 30, things start to sag, right? So you want to incorporate some sort of resistance training. Now, yes, you can do yoga and Pilates, and that's amazing. Like, do what works for you. But if you're wanting to actually change your shape of your body, I would encourage you to do some actual weightlifting. Okay, so I just started weightlifting. You guys know my story probably. 2021, I started lifting weights with my trainer. Completely changed my body. Completely changed my body. I work out 4 times a week. I do cardio maybe 3 times a week, and maybe 20 minutes. So I'll either do the Stairmaster or I'll do booty bands, walking on the treadmill. But my focus is weights. I do mostly lower body weights also because your thighs, you guys, your quads, your hamstrings, your glutes, they are the largest muscle in your body. So if you're working those muscles a couple times a week, you're burning the most amount of calories. It actually helps with belly fat when you're working your legs. Is that crazy? So doing crunchies and stuff is not what's getting you abs. It's increasing your metabolic rate by doing things like working the big muscles. Okay, if you need more specific help, I can connect you to my fitness trainer. He can design a program for you. Just DM me on Instagram after. Okay? Okay, so next point. This is so simple, you guys, but it's also backed by research to increase your metabolic rate. And that is drink water. Okay? If you're like me, I was a busy mom, still am a busy mom. If I don't have this thing filled up, I don't drink water because we're so busy helping the world, doing a billion things. Next thing you know, it's the end of the day and we barely drink any water, right? But since I've filled up my water bottle in the morning, I literally carry this around with me. It's in my car, it's at my desk, it's by my bed, I was on, vacation, it's with me. It's like my bestie, okay? Try to go for 3 to 4 liters a day. It's going to increase your metabolic rate, first of all. They've done research on this. People that are really hydrated, their metabolism is faster. It's going to help you feel full longer. So a lot of times you might be feeling hungry, but you're actually just dehydrated, okay? And the brain is telling you you're hungry, but you're actually just really thirsty. That's the other thing. And then it's just going to help you with digestion. It's really good for your joints. It's really good for your skin to help your skin look really plump and youthful. Like your skin will change when you start drinking this much water because you're just flushing out toxins. You're flushing out everything. Okay, and it's like one of those simple things that literally doesn't cost you anything. Ideally, if you can do filtered water, do filtered water, but carry a bottle around with you, okay? Yes, you're going to be peeing a lot, but that's okay. That's okay. Peeing a lot is okay. We want to flush everything out, right? Okay. Did I say 5 tips? Okay. Do you guys remember the 5 tips? I have two more. And they're really, really good. They're going to change your life, I promise. So just to recap, so the number one thing is increase your protein. Aim for 2 grams per 1 kilogram. You can try intermittent fasting. There's different ways you can do it, but 16-8 or 14-10. Number 3 is during your eating window, having foods that help support your hormones and increase your metabolism. Okay, so adaptogens, thermogenic foods, lean proteins. I have a full list for free, no excuses, in my bio. You can literally just go download it and stick it on your fridge. Okay. Number 4, resistance training. Ideally 4 times a week, you're lifting heavy weights, or you're lifting weights. It doesn't have to be heavy if you're just starting. If you've plateaued, like you have been doing some weight training or yoga or whatever you're doing, but you've plateaued, that's when you want to step it up and challenge your body. Okay, so you're gonna have to lift heavier weights, maybe get a trainer. You can reach out to me if you need help, but you want to find a program that's going to switch things up so you don't plateau. Okay, and then number 5 is having that water every single day. Ideally 3 to 4 liters of water. That's also going to increase your metabolic rate. Okay, so 2 more tips. I'm going to save the best for last. Next tip is you want to get enough sleep. I know it sounds so simple, but this really impacts your hormones and it impacts your belly fat. So you guys might have heard me talk about this before, but when you're not sleeping properly, or if you're under a lot of stress, your cortisol levels are really high. When your cortisol levels are high and your dopamine levels are low, it causes junk food cravings, sugar cravings. It also, when your cortisol levels are high, it causes you to store belly fat. Because what happens is your body's in survival mode. It's in fight or flight response because you're stressed out, you're in chronic stress, you're not sleeping properly. And when your body thinks it's in survival mode, it's going to hold on to the fat because it needs to survive, right? So that's why you might have a lot of stubborn belly fat, is because you might not be sleeping properly or you're under a lot of stress. Okay? So for me, this has been a non-negotiable ever since I watched my husband get really sick and die, right? And I saw him deteriorate more and more and more, the more stressed out he was and the less he slept. So for me now, I don't care what's going on around me. If I need to rest, if I need to refuel, I do that. It's just non-negotiable, literally. And I don't crave junk food anymore. Like maybe once in a while, but not really. When you're giving your body the rest it needs, the nutrients it needs, the fun that you need, the water hydration that you need, you don't really crave junk food anymore. You might have it once in a while, but you're not like, you know how like before, if you've ever been like this, you know what I'm talking about, where you're just like, I need junk food, I need pastries, I need chocolate, I need this, and you're like emotionally eating and binge eating. You don't get like that anymore because that's all hormone driven, right? Okay, last tip, you guys. This is going to change everything in your life. Are you ready? I see clients get stuck here all the time. Not even clients, but people I know. You've got to change the story that you're telling yourself. Okay? My eyes itchy here. You've got to change the story that you're telling yourself. What do I mean by that? So, what story are you telling yourself right now? So, this is what I hear all the time. Oh, I'm 50 years old, so I can't lose weight. Or I've had kids, I can't lose weight. Or I'm too busy. Or my husband doesn't help me. Or I work too much. Or I'm this, or I'm this, or that. Or I have a back injury, or I have a knee injury. Or I don't have any money. Or like literally all these stories, all these excuses over and over and over again. That is what's going to stop you. Okay, so a couple of years ago, you guys, my life was a mess. It was a complete mess. I was a mess. My life was a mess. I did not look like this at all. The first thing I changed was my story. And it had not manifested into reality yet, but I started with writing it down. So write down this new story for yourself. How do you want to look? How do you want to feel? And you're going to have to keep going back to that. Like I still have to keep going back to that. And that's what's going to help you keep up leveling. Because you're going to have days where you naturally default into old ways of doing things until your new ways are so normal for you. Right? So that's why you have to keep revisiting this new story. And you can do it in a vision board, journaling, whatever it is. Okay? So a couple years ago, I wrote out, and I was none of these things, by the way, when I was writing this out. I am a fit, healthy, sexy, happy, energetic mama. I'm in peak performance shape. I'm aging in reverse. I look good. I look my best and feel my best. That's right. I'm in the best shape of my life. And that's literally where I'm at right now. Okay? And then what I did every single day, I did that inner work. You got to do the inner work. So this is inner work, you guys. So stuff's going to come up. Okay, if you're on this transformation journey, stuff is going to come up. You're going to get triggered. People are going to piss you off. You might have some unforgiveness in you. You might have anger issues. You might have depression issues, anxiety, overwhelm, fatigue, mental burnout, all those things. You got to work through those things, okay? And you can. You don't just suppress them and just let them sit there because they're going to weigh you down. And then naturally we look for things to make us feel better. So that's when we start reaching for the food. That's when we start reaching for the alcohol. Or we start just doing toxic things to make ourselves feel better in the morning. Or I don't want to go to the gym anymore. I'm too depressed. I'm too lazy. I have no energy, right? When really you have stuff in there that needs to come out, you need to deal with. So, I mean, if you need to get therapy, get therapy. If you need to get coaching, get coaching. Do whatever it takes to work through your junk, okay? And then as you're working through your junk, it's going to be so much easier for you to stick to this new way of living for yourself. And you're going to feel so good about yourself. And here's the other thing. You're going to get off track, and that's okay. You're not beating yourself up. You're not beating yourself up. You're not shaming yourself. If you get off track, that's okay. Just recalibrate and keep going, okay? That's why I always tell my girls, write this stuff down. Write everything down that I'm talking to you about, these 7 tips, because you need to go back to it. I have to do this too, you guys. Now it's so second nature to me. I couldn't not be like this because I've been doing it consistently for the last couple of years, right? But there's other things in my life that I want to level up in that I have to revisit every single day. So for you, if this is new, you got to go back to this every single day because you're going to catch yourself and be like, oh, well, it's because I'm 50. Oh, it's because I'm too busy. I'm a wife, I'm a mom or whatever. Or I'm too busy because of this or that, or I have we start self-sabotaging, okay? Once again, I have free downloads in my bio link. You can download it there with like the foods list, the adaptogens there. If you have any other questions that I didn't answer today, you can always message me on Instagram, DM me. That's the best way to talk personally. If you need help with like fitness or anything else, waist training, you can also DM me for that. I live stream every Wednesday, so make sure you're following here. I do a Wellness Wednesday every Wednesday, and just to help keep you guys focused, okay? How to make time for yourself when you don't have time. Great question, love. You know what, babe? This goes back to the story thing I was telling you about. You have to decide that you're going to make time for yourself. And I'll prove this to you. If I was like, I'm going to give you $1 million if you figure out how to make time for yourself, would you figure it out? You would figure it out, right? So what happens is when we're so busy taking care of everybody else and we tell ourselves, I don't have time, you're not going to have time. But if it's like, no, I'm prioritizing this, I'm going to make time for myself, you're going to start making time for yourself. Start with something simple and start with something you enjoy, okay? And here's, like, for example, for me, my morning routine and my workouts are like my non-negotiable. They make me feel good. I love them. I've trained my kids. Here's the other thing, too, is people are going to resist it. So if you're the type of person that you please everybody and you've been saying yes to everybody and taking care of everybody and all of a sudden you want to make time for yourself, you're going to get some pushback. But you got to tell people, I need to do this for me. And you have to be okay with people getting upset. But you know what? People will respect you more. Because I tell people, my kids, I've trained my kids. Mama's got to work out. Or mama's got to go have a nap now. They know. They know. Trust me, they know. Like, if you want a happy mom, you need to let me go work out. You need to let me have a nap right now. Okay? So you just got to, it's healthy boundaries, you guys. Otherwise, you're just going to be living a life serving everyone else and completely losing yourself. And those are the people that go off on the deep end. And all of a sudden there's like off and they run away from their life, right? So instead of having that, it's like, no, take that time now and protect that time. How long should you wear your waist trainer? So max 8 hours a day, max, okay? I usually wear it only when I work out, when I lift weights, and I'll sometimes wear my corset at home. So it depends. But when I first had my babies, like postpartum, I wore it all day long, every single day. I wore my waist trainer. But now I don't need to wear it all day long. Now I just wear it when I work out. Stomach vacuums also help so much, you guys. So go and save. I have like all these stomach vacuum videos on my Instagram or my TikTok. Go and save those videos. Thank you, guys. Really good questions, you guys. You guys are the sweetest. I love you so much. I really appreciate your love. Okay, I'm going to log off here. DM me if you have any more questions. Talisha, it was nice chatting with you too. Jojo, thank you. Thank you, all you girls. Linda, Kala. Is it Kala? Kayla? Linda. All you girls. It was so nice hanging out with you. Okay. I wish you all the best. You guys take care of you, okay? And if you need help, either reach out or go download all those free books that I got for you. That's why I'm like, take care of yourself, guys. You're worth it.